Welcome back to another video. Today we are looking at weigh-in days 4 and 5, and it looks like she's going to be talking about the TikTok video that I keep seeing going around. I don't follow her on TikTok, so I didn't even know that she had posted anything, that she had gotten banned. I'd learned about it through some other reaction channels, and it'll be interesting to kind of see how she defends herself as time goes on. Unfortunately, like I've said before in previous videos, I think that she's using TikTok to try to build a new audience there because she's always talking about how much she does not like the community that she's created on YouTube. I've said a few times now, I've kind of laid out a couple of different ways that she could start to rebuild and fix the community here on YouTube, but I don't think that she wants to bother. Like it's a lot of work in order to fix to fix the views that you've projected onto others about yourself. Like it's a lot of work. And so in her mind, it may be easier to just move to a different social media site. Plus there's like that whole thing on YouTube where it's like if you've been here for X amount of time, you've lost relevancy. So she may be trying to create a following on a different social media site so that she can leave YouTube or generate income, more income or something like that. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what's going on.
Hey guys, so welcome to my video, which would be day 4, November 6th of 100 Days of Weighing In. So normally I would wait for this feeling to pass and then I would vlog, but I wanted to take my camera out during the actual experience of me feeling like utter and complete. This happened. I ate this whole thing. Yes, I did. Last night. Over, I
The
want to say like a
chewy
6 hour
Chips
period, but
Ahoy are
still,
the
the fact that
grossest ones.
I ate
I
them all
don't
is
like
not okay.
when
12 servings per
cookie
container.
companies make a
It's like
chewy
1,700
version
calories
of
for that
their
whole thing, and it's
cookies.
most
Like
definitely
it's
not keto in any sort of way. Like, I
there is
am
some
extremely
sort
mad
of
at myself. I
chemical
have
that they
so many
put
thoughts right now, and they're just
in the
all jumbled.
chewy
They stay jumbled.
version of their
No
cookies
matter how
that
much I
makes
journal,
it
no
taste
matter how
like
much I go to
rubber to
therapy, talk
me.
to my psychologist, no
Does
matter how much
anybody else
medicine I pay for
experience
don't
that?
take, it's like I'm afraid that I'm gonna be that one person who just doesn't heal from this eating disorder. So as you guys know,
I wanted to talk about that mentality. And I think that that mentality of her being afraid that she's going to be the only person in the world that never heals from this disorder, I think that on some level she knows that she's not the only person in the world. Many, many people in the world don't recover from binge eating disorder and from being this obese. I mean, clearly she watches my 600-pound life. I used to watch it, and then it just got sad and depressing to watch. It was just people get themselves into this situation. It's a lot easier to get here than it is to come back from it. And even if you do come back from it, your life is changed for the rest of your life. You can't just be, carefree with your eating. You have to you have to have a a big strong grip on your eating habits for the rest of your life. And for a lot of people, the sad reality is they're weak-willed. Like I'm not saying I'm any better. I don't binge, but like I sometimes will get into a habit where I'm like, oh, I really want a cookie, and I'll eat a bunch of cookies. There are ways to stop yourself from having that like free access to food. She lives in an apartment with another person. She could easily set it up so that the cabinets and the fridge are locked at night. Put a physical lock on them. Give wifey the key. Maybe have a small basket of like pre-portioned snacks out, and like worst case scenario, if you do end up binging, you're just eating, like I don't know, 7 Ziploc baggies of cookies instead of the entire fridge. I mean, and it's strange to me that she's in a relationship with somebody and she says it's like the best relationship that she's ever had, and she's not utilizing this person who's supposed to be like her rock or whatever. She's not utilizing this person in her recovery. She seems to like have this mindset that like, oh, I have to do this on my own, otherwise it doesn't count or whatever. Like that is not how a relationship should work. In our household, we don't limit food like with our kids. We go to the grocery store, they're allowed to buy a certain number of snacks, like they're allowed to pick out a certain number because like we have a budget, but I don't limit anymore like I used to. I don't limit what they can have. So like if one of my kids wants to get ice pops, then they get ice pops. And if they eat all those ice pops in the first 3 days because we go shopping every 2 weeks, then they have to live with not having any ice pops for the rest of the 2 weeks. For myself, I keep all of my snacks in a tote, like a little plastic tote, and I keep it because I have to keep it up high, otherwise the kids get into my snacks. But I've found that by putting them up high, where like I actually have to get a stool to get to them, it's actually limited how much I'm snacking because I'll be sitting here at the computer and I'll be going like, "Oh man, I know I have, Cheetos in that tote, but do I really want to get up, go in there, drag the stool across the floor, climb up there, get the thing down, portion out a bowl of Cheetos?" And so I'll just be like, "No, I'm just going to drink some water." And I know that that's entirely different from like be feeling compelled to binge, but I'm just saying that like she has all of this money and she has, she supposedly has the support system. Why is she not utilizing these things in order to come up with some sort of plan or setup in her apartment to make it harder for her to binge? Like, and she can have the argument of like, "Oh, I shouldn't have to live like that." Yeah, that's cool, but obviously what you're doing isn't working either.
So I was enjoying keto in the beginning, like the first week, I will say. And then I started noticing like I was just feeling super sick, not in the sense of like keto flu, because I know exactly what that is, because I have family members like my aunt, my mom, they did keto for years. So I know exactly like what keto flu is. This
I
was all about my
mean,
gallbladder, which
knowing what keto flu is and experiencing it are two different things. I thought that we were prepared for keto flu, and my husband and I had vastly different symptoms. So, where he was experiencing keto flu and I was like, "Oh, well, this isn't keto flu. This isn't what you have." Everybody's body reacts differently to it. And also, she has family members who have experienced the keto flu, but yes, are those family members the same weight as you? Do they have all of the same medical problems as you? Like, it's very easy to be dismissive of, like, "Oh, I was feeling sick, but it wasn't this." How do you know? Did you go to a doctor? Did you get tested for anything? You can't just write it off like that.
oh boy, I knew wasn't a good idea. I always knew that keto was not a good idea if you have gallstones. When I was told to do keto, I was told to have very high fat. The lymphedema specialist said you need to do very low carb, below 50 grams, and you need to have a lot of fat, like 200 grams a day. I was not having anywhere near that when I was doing
But
keto.
it's a specific
I
kind
knew
of
that
fat.
that would like tear me up
You
pretty
need to
bad.
have healthy
I was
fats.
having
You
more
can't
fat than usual
just
though, because
eat
I was eating like steak and pork rinds, and
pork
I eat
rinds.
like
Like,
a
you
lot
can't
of
just eat
low
pork
fat
rinds and be like, "Yeah,
things.
healthy
No, I
fats."
wouldn't say low fat. I don't eat a lot of pork rinds and steak type of deals when I am not doing keto. It just felt like the main source of food I was getting was protein and fat, which is what keto is. And it was making my gallbladder hurt really bad and I was feeling really sick. They said that I shouldn't do keto. So this is what I'm currently, as a human being, experiencing, okay? And I need people to take away the fact that I'm Amberlynn Reed, because I know a lot of people just are biased based on that. Like, I just feel like people hate on me and nitpick and complain about anything and everything when it comes to me. So I have a lymphedema specialist telling me what diet to eat. I have my doctor telling me not to do that diet. And I have my psychologist from a binge eating disorder clinic telling me not to diet at all because I need to heal and I need to stop relapsing with this binge eating disorder. So I have three specialists, one, two, three, who are all very freaking smart, intelligent, kind, patient. They
Why are you not
truly
getting
care,
any of
and they
these
all have their
doctors
own
in with
advice, and I think it's
themselves?
great. And
I will never understand for the life of me, like, number one, why the healthcare system in America is so fucking bad. Number two, I don't understand why it is the patient's job to communicate with the other doctors and specialists. In my personal opinion, if you are going to a doctor, it should be assigned to, like, I don't know, your freaking social security number. Like, you should have like a database system with your information in it, so that like she's going to this, lipedema specialist. Any doctor that she sees should be able to pull up her information and go, "I see that you're seeing a lipedema specialist, and the lipedema specialist says you should be on keto." Well, I disagree with that. Like, it shouldn't be the patient's responsibility to get the doctors together. But in this case, why didn't she? Why did she just, like, I'm sure that she just, smiles and nods when the doctors are in the office. But unfortunately, especially in America, you have to advocate for yourself. You have to. Both of my children have genetic disorders, and none of their specialists, that each of them have like 6 or 7 specialists, and none of them communicate with each other. I have to keep like a whole, expanding binder thing with all of their doctors' information, like the information, an overview of what we do in the office every single time. I get copies of x-rays and MRIs so that I can show them to the other doctors so I can say this is what it looked like, and it blows their mind when I walk into the doctor's office and I have these things. They're just like, "Oh," because like my youngest cardiologist is like, "Oh, I'll have to see what ortho thinks." And I'm like, "Here you go. This is what ortho said." And here are his x-rays and here are his MRIs. If she's really serious about managing her health, why isn't she asking for print offs of any of these things? It feels like she's walking into, the ER or these clinics and they're just saying like, "Yep, you're fat." And she's like, "Yep, I sure am." And then she leaves. And then she sits at home and she's like, "I just don't understand why things aren't getting any better." But she goes on and on about how I have to advocate for myself and I have to do this and I have to do that. You need to do more. Clearly. You can't just sit around and go, "Oh, well, the doctors are all giving me conflicting information." I'm like, "Okay, cool. You need to talk to the doctors. You need to say, okay, lipedema specialist, I can't do keto. What do you suggest I do?" And then take whatever diet they suggest you do and take it to your other doctors and say, "Okay, how do you feel about this?" Get them in a Zoom call together. See if you could have like a telephone like conference call or something. Like, come on.
All of them say something different. I don't know what to do. Verity, your butthole is in the camera. Love, love, love.
Who
Oops.
cares? It's
It's
cat
not.
butthole.
You're such a
Everybody's seen
baby.
it.
Holy crap. Why don't you go lay down? Just for a second. Just for 1 second. And then we can cuddles. So I'm just finding myself to be like, I want to listen to health professionals. You guys tell me to do so. I know I need to do so, but who? Who? Which one? Clearly, Ozempic and keto did not work because of gallstones. And it's like my gallbladder doesn't have the option of being taken out yet
It
because it has
didn't
to be
work
infected.
because of
Any
gallstones.
doctor I've talked to,
It
I've
didn't
seen the
work
surgeon,
because
even my
she
doctor
didn't
now,
do it right
9
and
times out of 10, your
she
gallbladder has to be
wanted
running
a
very
quick
low. It
fix.
has to be like very ineffective before they'll take it out. Plus, my weight plays a big role in like why they aren't prompted to do surgery. So it's just like a lot of different things. Why is everything working against me when I'm trying so hard to do everything that I'm fucking being told? Why?
It's not working against her. She has this victim mentality where she's like, "Oh, everything in the world is working against me." And I understand that being the weight she is and going through the things that she's gone through and having all of the issues she has, and clearly she has mental issues as well because she says she's going to a therapist. But I understand how easy it is to fall into the mindset of everything in the world is working against me. But at the end of the day, you are the only person that can make the changes to fix your life. And you can come on here and you can put on a big show about it, but once the camera turns off and you're left alone in your apartment and left alone with your own thoughts, you realize that you're not actually doing anything. You talk a big game and you make a big show for the camera, but it's all about what happens off camera. If you go on this, 33-minute and 5-second rant about how nothing you're doing is working and then immediately turn off the camera and binge, it makes no sense. Her reach on YouTube, like her entire life, career, whatever you want to call it on YouTube, may end up being a sad documentary where, when she has passed away from a heart attack or something because of her weight, because of her issues, it may end up that people are, realizing that she is a cautionary tale. And I know that's like really morbid to think about, but not everybody recovers from this condition. Just like people don't recover from anorexia, people don't recover from mental illness. It happens every single day. And she's got all these, she had all of these people who were like holding out hands trying to like help her. And she snapped at them and bit the fingers and did whatever she needed to do to make them go away. And now she's alone and isolated and she's just sitting there and going, "Why is nobody helping me? Why does everything work against me?" And I'm like, "Because you've created this perfect storm in your life for everything to work against you."
Why is everything working against me? Like I can blame myself for the last 30 years of my life, and I will blame myself for the last 30 years of my life. But I can't blame myself now because I'm doing everything that the doctors are telling me to do, that the professionals are telling me to do, and I just feel so lost. I feel so scared. I feel hopeless. I feel defeated. I really, really, truly don't know what to do anymore. And a lot of people can look at this and be like, "It's so simple. Just count your calories." For someone with binge eating disorder, it's truly not that easy. Binge
Counting
eating disorder
calories
is a
is
disorder.
not
It's
an
a chemical
option
disorder in your brain. Your brain is
for
functioning
people.
differently as
Like,
a normal
it's
human.
not
This isn't something
sustainable,
that I
just
just
like
choose to do.
keto
I know a
isn't
lot of people feel from
sustainable.
this. I get that all the time because during my rage of just wanting to binge and overeat, I buy things that I shouldn't.
If, once again, if you cannot be trusted to do the shopping, then maybe wifey needs to do all the shopping. And like, I know that that's probably a point of contention in the household because of how much money Amber's bringing in compared to how much money wifey's bringing in. But at the end of the day, if you really truly wanted to lose the weight, you would be putting in the effort to do that. If you know that you are not in a good place to be going grocery shopping, like mentally, then you shouldn't be going grocery shopping. Or you should be giving wifey the power to veto anything that you put in the cart. Or, you should be having her put child locks on your phone so you can't do Instacart and DoorDash. The resources are there. You want to have a partner. You want to get married. You want to have a child, with this person, supposedly. Why are you guys not working on this together? Why is it you doing all of this while wifey's doing whatever in the background?
something that is just like a light switch, then no one would be fat, no one would have eating disorders, no one would see therapists, no one would have psychologists, there wouldn't be freaking eating disorder clinics, like it wouldn't be a thing. And it's just, I have so much to unpack in therapy. Oh my god, I have 30 fucking 1 years of just hell to unpack in therapy, and you guys, we have only reached the fucking tip, the surface. So it's like, I'm not gonna heal anytime soon. I don't know what I want for myself, let alone what you guys want for me. I posted a TikTok actually last night.
See, I
Wanted
was
to
told that
make people
the
feel less alone because I
TikTok
know there's a lot of
was
people who also struggle.
supposed to be of
And last
her
night I felt
binging,
really
and
alone.
everybody
I
was
felt so
kind
alone.
of
And I was like, I don't think anyone else
criticizing,
feels alone
like, why did
because
she have
I
a
know how
camera
hard keto is
set
and
up?
how
But
scary
she's
and how
saying that
overwhelming.
she
So
was
regarding keto, I
depicting.
obviously am no longer doing keto, and I know that's gonna let down a lot of people. But my question to the people, like truly, I will read the comments. I will read the comments under this video. I want to know from you, the people who are disappointed that I stopped keto, the people who are let down that I stopped keto. My question for you is, why are you let down slash disappointed by something that my doctor clearly said I should not do because I have gallstones? Like, this isn't a choice. I just want people to look more clearly into their thoughts. Are you let down because
See, that was extremely condescending. She baited us with the question and then used the fact that her doctors told her to stop doing this. And then she's like, I just want people to look more clearly into their thoughts. People are not upset with you because you quit keto. They're not disappointed with you because you quit keto. They are disappointed and upset that you are not doing more to save your own life. That we are all sitting here watching what is basically a horror story, like a very slow, poorly written horror story at this point. And everybody is still trying to throw out ideas and point out that, like, at the end of the day, I can speculate all I want, and other people, other reaction channels can speculate, and you can be upset that other reaction channels are taking your money. At the end of the day, you've turned yourself into a spectacle. Somebody is going to make the money, whether it be off of talking about, how you've ruined your body because of YouTube, or because of how you're a success story. Like, I see people make reaction videos on, like, obese to beast. I see people make reaction videos on all sorts of people who were really, really heavy and then lost all the weight. It doesn't matter that you're heavy or if you're losing the weight. There will always be reaction videos, and getting upset at people for creating those videos is not actually fixing your problem. At the end of the day, I think, in my opinion, that Amberlynn does not love herself, doesn't know how to love herself, is in therapy but is not actually listening to or doing what the therapist is suggesting to learn how to love herself, and is instead sitting here waxing poetic, blaming other people, and trying to bait us into saying hateful things so that she can go, haha, this is the community I created. You all hate me.
you want to be let down for entertainment reasons, which I know some of you are, and then the portion of you who like do care about me and my journey, what do you guys advise that I should do? And yes, I'm asking you guys for advice because I am receiving advice from all these professionals, but they're all different. I'm just
It's
really,
also
really confused
extremely
and like really
unfair
defeated.
to say things
Yeah,
like
I
the
think really
portion
defeated.
of you that actually
So my
care.
steps forward
Clearly, the
is
people
I'm
who
going
are
to keep a
haters, in your
food journal,
opinion,
like a physical food
clearly
journal,
they
and I'm gonna
care.
write down everything that I
They
eat.
just
I am
are
not gonna count
very
calories
frustrated by your
because
actions.
that is exactly what my psychologist says do not do. Hello, hello. So I wanted to show you guys, remember I told you I like to do doodle posters. I started this when I was 18. I just randomly did it one day and then I couldn't stop. There was a phase, there was a little tiny moment where I had a few people pay me to make them one. So that was mighty flattering, gotta admit. So I kind of want to show you one that I've been working on. It's been like a week now. It is very, very time consuming, but it's really fun. It's distracting, it's therapeutic. Just a little smidgel of a hobby that I have, okay? And I just love doing it. So I wanted to show you guys how it looks so far. This is how she is looking.
Good
I kind
lord.
of just wanted to show her nice and slowly because it's a lot to absorb. This is it sideways, but this is the way that I'm doing it. I don't know, it's just like so therapeutic. Okay, you guys, so here we are, day 5.
It was nice of her to show that little poster thing. And as I know that some people don't like her Lego creations or whatever, but I think that it is good to have hobbies, and it really wouldn't be the end of the world if she decided to expand her hobbies. Like, clearly I don't like the weird little mini brands things. I'm just not a huge fan of, like, blatant capitalism bullshit. But if she's interested in artwork, I would like to see her try, like, a paint by number, or even like a diamond painting. Like, I did a diamond painting, and I can't do them anymore because they hurt my eyes. And I'm like, maybe if I had, like, magnifying glasses or something, it wouldn't be so bad. But I enjoy paint by numbers. I didn't think I would. I tried out a few, and my logic behind it was I didn't think that they, like, counted as real artwork because it was like a picture that it already existed, and you were just filling in the blanks. But over time, I've learned that I can save paint, or I can buy paint of my own, and I can add to the paint by numbers that I'm doing and like make them unique. And at the end of the day, you end up with like a big beautiful piece of artwork and like yeah, sure the artwork's kind of mass produced, but you made it because you painted it. So it's never going to be like 100% like the original. You know, it's always going to have that little aspect of like I did this and it gives you like that sense of pride. And I'd like to see her explore those things. Like maybe she could explore I don't know, knitting or crochet or fake nail art, like press on nail art. She could, you know, she has shit tons of money and she spends it on the weirdest things. And it, you know, if you're going to spend it on weird things, like why not try like a mini, like pottery kit or, you know, like Amazon sells tons of like little DIY kits. Like she could try resin painting, she could try glass work, she could, you know, there's so many things out there that she could be trying that I think a lot of people would be like, wow, you know, hey, look at her. She's trying to expand her horizons. So, just a thought.
Or 97.8. So I will say that binging 2 days in a row is a rarity for me, but it happened. And I just noticed that my binging comes so much more frequently ever since I started keto and then stopped it. You guys, keto was probably one of the worst ideas for someone with binge eating. And I kind of
See, like here it just tells me, I'm just gonna let
regret
this
ever
fly.
doing it, to be honest.
It just
I'm having the worst
the
heartburn
way
right
that
now.
she keeps
I
going
binged
on
again.
and like
I did. I'm having
dragging everything back to keto, just it feels manufactured. It feels like she's trying to convince us and get us on board with her mindset of why she should be quitting keto. When at the end of the day, like it's her choice. She's already done it. It was days ago. It was her choice to quit keto. And, you know, people have opinions about it, but who cares? At the end of the day, like who cares? But the fact that she keeps going like, oh, you know, I've noticed that things have gotten worse because of keto. You were on it for like a week. Like it wasn't enough time for it to do anything to your body. And the only thing that you were doing, like if anything, the main reason why you're binging now is probably because you weren't eating correctly. You weren't maintaining a sense of fullness using vegetables. She was literally just eating red meat and pork rinds. And then she's just like, I don't understand why this didn't work for me. It's almost infantile. Like she's trying to convince a pack of idiots and we're the idiots. It's like she thinks she's trying to convince a pack of idiots to follow along with her logic. And we're all sitting here going, "Well, no, because you didn't do it right." And then she's like, "No, no, no, no. You guys are stupid. You don't understand." And we're like, "No, we understand how keto's supposed to work." And she's like, "No, no, no, no. I am a special snowflake. I understand, and you don't understand, but we do."
a very abnormally hard time with my binging lately. I don't know what's up. And this is the heaviest I've weighed in months. And I just feel like starting keto was such a good idea in the beginning, and now I just feel like it was such a horrible idea. So I actually just journaling, and I just wanted to talk to you guys. I know in my vlog that actually just went up yesteryear's, or was it today? I don't know, doesn't matter. But I had a vlog up where I was like trying keto ice cream, and people were like, how do you expect not to binge by, you know, having ice cream in your house? Da, da, da. I'm currently at a time in my eating disorder journey, for the lack of a better word, where it's not the ice cream. I am not addicted to ice cream. I'm addicted to food. Ice cream triggers me just as much as broccoli. Broccoli triggers me just as much as a slushy. A slushy.
Well, that's the thing, though. I've seen plenty of people point it out, but if all food is triggering, then why are you keeping the bad food in your house? Or keeping, I'm sorry, not just the bad food, because like we've said before, it doesn't matter what you have in your house. But my thing is if you're gonna have cookies in the house, find a way to lock them up, find a way to portion them out. If you know, binging on broccoli is a concern, then I don't know, buy more broccoli. What is a broccoli binge gonna do to you? Give you a more healthy shit? Like who cares? It's the problematic food. Like for example, some of the changes we've made in the house is instead of buying those little like pints of ice cream for myself, I will just buy like the individually wrapped like fudge pops or something. Because even if I have like a snacky night where I eat 3 of those fudge pops in like one sitting, I don't have to. I mean, like yeah, it's a lot of calories, but at the end of it, like there's only 6 of those ice pops in a box. Whereas if I eat the entire pint of ice cream, it feels a lot worse the next day. It feels a lot worse looking down at it and going, "Oh my God, I ate a whole pint of ice cream." You know, it's, you know, tonight I decided to treat myself. I went in the kitchen, I got myself a little thing of regular Chips Ahoy because I hate the chewy stuff, so I got a thing of I had like 4, I think, and a little glass of milk. And then maybe an hour later, I was like, I want more. I want more of those. So I got another glass of milk and another four. Is that a healthy serving? No. I also had a soda today because I had a really rough day. I've had to go out into the world and get shots for the kids, and it was really stressful for me. And it's not healthy, but sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Looking at me, it looks like I love food. I don't. I hate it. And in this moment, I truly, truly wish, as human beings, we did not have to eat. But I just wanted to come on here while I'm
She
editing this
doesn't
and
feel
let you.
genuine. When she says things like this, it sounds like she was looking up binge eating disorder. Like, it looks like she was reading people's diary entries about binge eating disorder. Like, she went to Reddit and was like reading people who were like venting about like having it, and she was just like repeating what they said. She never feels genuine. It never, like, she has no emotion behind it. Like, she can be expressive with her face, but when she says stuff like this, it doesn't feel genuine. It feels like she's trying to force feed us to like really get it into our heads that she's not the problem, her disorder is. And on some level you can blame the disorder, but also at the end of the day, she has the ability to take the steps in her life to start getting control of things. And if she's not going to go to inpatient, then she needs to do something more in her day-to-day life.
You guys know that when I said I'm just not doing very good, like mentally, I meant in the food area because it sucks. In my life, I'm doing great. If it wasn't for this like haunting food addiction slash binge eating disorder, I would be such a happy individual. But right now, food is just like, it has me in prison. It truly has me in prison. And how long is the sentence going to be? Because it can't be lifelong. And that's why I'm in therapy. But damn, I'm just struggling and I just want to share it.
See, again, it feels like she went to some sort of forum where people were talking about how they feel about having binge eating disorder, and she just picked up on other people's, expressions and was like I don't know how else to explain it, but it's almost like when one of my children uses like an adult turn of phrase. Like if my 6-year-old were to walk out and be like, "Man, what a day I'm having." Like it just it feels silly.
My psychologist just had a baby, so I'm like so happy for her. So she's actually not even going to be back in work for a couple months, and that's hard because I'm not going to have an appointment. So like I'm super super happy for her. And normally moments like this, it's like I can rely on that like appointment that I have with her, but I don't have that right now. So I'm trying to just be patient and journal more and be more in
That
tune
make
with how
doesn't
I'm
that
feeling.
that doesn't make any sense to me. Anytime that you are seeing a doctor for something where you're seeing them regularly, if they are not in the office, they take steps to make sure that their patients are covered. Both of my children are they both see a behavioral specialist because we're a neurodivergent family, and their doctor is actually having a baby, I think in December, and she told us about the fact that she was going to be going on maternity leave in this month in November. She said, I'll be going on maternity leave November 1st. I won't be back until January, whatever. And she's made us aware, given us all the phone numbers of everybody that we can reach regarding both of the boys' cases. So it is absolutely bizarre to me that a therapist, somebody who has multiple patients that rely on her to help them balance their mental conditions, it's bizarre to me that Amberlynn expects us to believe that this doctor was just like, I'm having a baby, peace, and like left all of these patients up in the air. It was just like, figure it out yourself for a few weeks. Did she just choose to not have a surrogate doctor? Is she just, I don't get that.
And maybe that's why I started this because it's therapeutic for me. I know a lot of people like, well, you need to talk to a therapist, right? You're talking to the internet. Something about word vomit and knowing that people are listening to you and like choosing to listen to you. Like I'm not just like sitting here talking and
I
having
also
people not
have
listen.
to
Like I know
wonder
that
if
if you
she's
are clicking
having
on this,
any
you
of
want
these
to listen. And to me,
conversations
I find that to
with
be
her
my own version
girlfriend,
of therapy that isn't therapy. It just makes me
because
feel better. Like
the
have you guys ever
amount
like
of
talked to a
time
friend
that she
and
seems to
a family
spend
member and whoever it may be, and
pouring
afterwards
her
you just feel
heart
so much better?
out to
I don't
us
like burdening people
is
in my life. That's why I
weird,
find myself
because
doing so much
I would
word
be
vomit
having these
on camera is because
conversations with
if you
my
like it and you want
husband.
to listen to it, you want to sit through all that hogwash. So it's like I
So,
don't want to bother.
one of the things that my husband and I had to work out very early on in our relationship, we've been married for 6 years now, and we both are children of trauma and other things, but we literally had to go back to the basics of, to the point where it was like, you make me feel blank when you say blank. And it felt really stupid, but it changed our entire relationship because we were constantly misunderstanding each other, which, later turned out to be because we're both neurodivergent and we have a hard time picking up on sarcasm and social cues. But it you have to slowly break down those walls. If this is the person that you're meant to be with, that you're, determined, like I had seen a quote somewhere that, speaking of cheesiness, I had seen a quote somewhere where somebody had said soulmates aren't found, they're made, or something like that. Like I'm probably breaking that up, but I subscribe to that thought wholeheartedly because I don't think that like people just meet each other and then everything is perfect and happily ever after. I think that a soulmate is something that is built over a lifetime. Like obviously, red flags and sticking up for yourself and things like that, but if both parties are actively working to better themselves and make themselves into better people for the not for the other person, but I don't know, in order to better their relationship together, I think that's, how you, I don't know, identify true love or something, if that makes sense. I'm horrible at stringing things together, but I understand how captivating and compelling it can be to have a rant or a late night gab sesh, but she said it's like what 5 a.m. here, and I'm not saying that she should be like slapping her girlfriend awake to have these like conversations, but if you know that your doctor's going to be out of office and for whatever reason your doctor hasn't set you up with a like a surrogate doctor, then maybe you need to be sitting down with your girlfriend more frequently and touching base and checking in on like where you are mentally.
It feels like a friendship that it's like if you don't want to listen to me, you don't have to. Like if you do want to listen to me, then you can. You have the option. So it just helps a lot. I have my own forms of outlet. Like I go to real therapy with a psychologist. I journal. I have like so many different hobbies that I do, throughout the day, which I'm grateful that I can do that. A lot of people can't. And I have a lot of like distractions and friends and family that I talk to on a day-to-day basis. But it's like sometimes I like to fit in a little bit of, hi YouTube, so this is where I'm at right now. This is how I'm feeling. I don't know. It's just all like mental. And I know a lot of people can relate to that. So yeah, it's just like the people in my life,
I'm
they care
not
about me,
sure
they
if
show they
it's the
take care about
fact
me,
that I have
and
her
my
on
like
two
therapy and stuff.
times
It's just like
speed, but
mentally, I don't
I'm
want to feel like
really
I'm
seeing a lot of
taking
myself in
time out of
her
their life.
here where
Like I do
she's
speak to them.
like
I do speak to my
second
family at home
guessing
daily.
everything she's
Obviously family
saying.
is always there for me, which I'm
She's
so grateful for. It's just sometimes I like different outlets.
explaining her thought
I like different ways
process.
of
It's
expressing
it's
myself and
all
communicating. And I think
signs
that's
of
why,
somebody
I made
who
that
is
TikTok
not
of
confident in
relapse is
themselves,
painful,
like
and
at
I've gotten a
all.
lot of backlash on it, which I find to be rather. No, it's not shocking
And
at all. It's not shocking at all. I get backlash for literally everything that I do and say. Everything.
I don't know. The
It's
more
never
I
ending, like
watch from
ever. It's
Amberlynn, the
crazy.
more
I
I
actually have
feel a sort
discovered.
of
I've discovered it
kinship,
before, but it's
and
been a long
I
time, over
think
years.
that's why a
Eating
lot of
disorder
people
TikTok and
have
people who struggle like I do, and a
frustrations
lot of
with her
people
because
have
like they can
expressed and shown and
see
depicted what their
some
eating disorder
small
looks like,
part of
and they do that through
themselves
TikTok, whether
in
it be
her,
in reenactment or like
and
them really
in
filming
some
a
cases
binge
they
and
may
uploading
be
it for people.
like,
The way that people heal or share their
crying out to
life
be
journey
like, you
is
can
up to them,
fix
and
this,
I found it
you're
empowering when
doing
I would
this
watch
to
these
yourself,
TikToks,
and
and I
on
felt
some
so
level
less alone. I hate that other people out there
people
are struggling
are,
because I know how horrible this
you
is to
know,
have an eating disorder and feel like you're not
looking at her and
at
going,
all in
no, you're
control.
making all the
Sometimes I
wrong
feel in control, of course.
decisions,
But that part of
trust
TikTok
me,
has made
I've
me
been
feel
there.
welcome and safe, and I kind of wanted to, make a TikTok depicting how it is for me, where I just feel very possessed, for lack of a better word, and I fight so hard not to binge, and then I just give in. I don't know. And I wanted to depict that. I wanted to depict exactly what it looks like for me. And there are people saying I did it for views and for trolling. I don't know. It's just so sad that people think that that's a version of me trolling.
Seems
Thought that
really. So I haven't seen the TikTok. I'm assuming that was the TikTok. I am glad that she said that this was her depicting her eating disorder, because if this was like supposed to be a real like, sneaky cam, I caught myself on camera doing it. That to me that looked 100% fake. Just the over dramatic hand movements. It looked like she had wiped like onion or something underneath her eyes to make herself water up. Like it was all heavily like produced in my opinion. I don't see why anybody would film that. I end up on signs of TikTok all the time where I feel like, oh wow, I have a community here, but that doesn't compel me to make a really creepy cheesy video to like prove to everybody that I belong to be here. I belong here. Like it's weird. It just feels like she's so desperate to find somewhere where she fits in, where people aren't going to judge her based on her actions, when at the end of the day, like it's her. It's Amberlynn who's judging her based on her actions, and she's trying to find other people who accept her because she can't accept herself.
the video was, touching, and I appreciate that. But I have to remember there's a large portion of people who are like, nope, this is trolling, and just like people making fun of me, and they'll make vlogs saying, I wanted to film everything I binged today and all the stuff, and people in the comments are just like so supportive about it. And I know for a fact if I did that, or Chantel, or back in the day when Amy's Life Journey was on here, oh my god, how is it?
I don't know which YouTuber she's talking about, but if her viewers are supportive, it's because she's created a good community around her. Whereas, especially in the case of Chantal, you guys thrive off of hating and bashing on your viewers and creating a place of hatred. And so sitting around and going, oh, I sure wish I could binge without people disliking it, it's I guarantee you that whoever this other YouTuber is using heavy moderation to make sure that people can't say certain things in the comments or on the live stream, and that she's only, if it is a she, that they are only seeing what, positive things. It's kind of funny that Amberlynn, as a YouTuber, is sitting around thinking that like the entire community is just automatically positive when if she is watching this YouTuber, she's seeing moderated content most likely. She is, maybe this other YouTuber has like certain words filtered out, so if people use certain words, their shit just doesn't get posted. She has the ability to do this to her own channel as well and to make it seem like she's got a really loving community, and she's just not utilizing any of those things for some reason. She is so desperate to find a reason why it's not her fault, and the longer she goes without accepting that it's her fault. Like she can say like, "Oh, I accept it's my fault," but like the longer she goes without truly accepting it in her heart, the harder it's going to be. And she may not ever recover from it because of that. So, thanks for sticking around for this one. I'm glad I'm not glad, but I'm sorry that it wasn't super positive. But when she gets into these like self-depreciating cycles, it's just really hard for me to find anything upbeat to talk about because it's just like the answer to all of her problems is sitting right in front of her. It's staring right back at her from her own camera.